He asked you to do what?
He asked me to sleep with him.
Alright, so this new series Baby Reindeer just came out on Netflix, and it's based on a true story about a bartender named Donnie who was stalked from one of his female customers named Martha. Okay, so Donnie was actually being played by Richard Gadd, who the story is based on and who wrote the script for the series. So this is Richard's story, and he actually plays Donnie in the series. So now that the series is over, the real life stalker that the series is based on has now come out to tell her side of the story, and of course claims that Richard is a psychotic liar. So Piers Morgan interviewed her so she could tell her side of the story, and that's what I wanted to cover here today. But one thing I wanted to point out before I go into this interview is how surprised I am that no one has seemed to mention that the Martha character clearly has BPD, which stands for borderline personality disorder. If you haven't heard of it, Google it and or look up videos here on YouTube about it. Whenever you see these female stalkers who are obsessed like this, they are clearly borderline, and they are extremely intense. And they are absolutely petrifying to deal with. I know because I have actually dealt with one before, and it was one of the most difficult and stressful things I've ever endured. So I can really relate to this story. So the stalker in real life is named Fiona Harvey, and so she is coming out to tell her side of the story. And I am not the least bit surprised she popped up to defend herself, because that is actually a way she can try to get Richard's attention again. These are the kinds of antics someone with BPD will use. So I have not yet watched this interview, but going in, I am quite sure she will be manipulating the story. She will likely start trying to smear his name. If not here, then she will in the future, because that's a tactic borderlines use when trying to gain leverage on you. They will tell you how they love you and how great you are, and you're the best person they've ever known. But then if you do not reciprocate those feelings, then they hate you and want you to die, and you're the worst person they've ever known. And if you watch this series, you'll see that play out. And that's exactly what a borderline does. If they don't get their way with you, they become very spiteful and can become very menacing. They can be very dangerous. And there actually need to be laws in place to protect people from these kinds of situations, because as of now, the police don't get involved until after an assault, or sometimes even after a murder. And by that time, it's too late. But if someone is blowing up your email or your phone, that should be a crime. You should be able to report that and the police do something about it. These kinds of nightmarish stories should be able to easily be prevented.
Showing up at my appointment!
What am I supposed to do? You won't answer my calls. You change your number. I mean, I'm not going to be ignored, Dan.
Maybe one should spend time in jail if you keep blowing up their phone or email. If you tell someone to stop contacting you, but yet they persist, that should be a crime. If someone starts a smear campaign against you and you can prove they are spreading lies about you, that should be a crime. That should not be something people can legally get away with. It should not be so difficult to stop stalkers like Martha. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this interview with Fiona Harvey, who is the real life Martha.
Have you watched the drama?
Not at all. I've heard about the court scene, about the jail sentences and all this sort of stuff.
But you really haven't watched any of it?
I haven't watched any of it.
You're not curious to?
No, I think I'd be sick. It's taken over enough of my life. I find it quite obscene. I find it horrifying, misogynistic.
How do you know it's misogynistic if you didn't even watch it? So there's the first potential lie right there.
In the course of your relationship with Richard Gadd, you send him 41,000 emails, 350 voice messages, 744 tweets, 48 Facebook messages, and 106 letters.
That's simply not true. If somebody was sending somebody 41,000 emails or something, they'd be doing how many a day? Lots.
Well, they'd be obsessively contacting
yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What did you send him?
None of that's true. I don't think I sent him anything.
You never sent him anything?
No. I think there may have been a couple of emails exchanging, but that was it. Just jokey banter emails.
Okay, she says that she didn't send him anything, but then says except a few jokey banter emails. Okay.
Netflix have said that these details are the real ones. That this is exactly
completely incorrect.
So you're denying sending anything to him?
There may have been a couple of emails.
Text messages?
No.
Facebook messages?
No.
Did you tweet him?
I may have done years and years ago.
You actually tweeted him numerous times.
No, it wasn't numerous. It was about 18 tweets there or 14
It's quite a lot to someone who's not that well known.
But we were all friends. You know, it was banter.
Right, but it establishes you were contacted. That's in public.
Yes, I mean, this
Did you write him letters?
Public, no. Something
you
like
did
that.
write to him?
One later.
So you would say you only sent him a handful of emails. Yeah. You never texted him.
No.
You tweeted him 18 times, you think. You never sent a Facebook message.
Oh, that's
and
right.
you wrote him one letter.
Yeah, because I didn't write him the emails.
Who do you think did?
I have no idea. I think he probably made them up himself. I've no idea. 41,000 emails.
Yeah.
A little reindeer.
Now, again, there is obviously a resemblance between...
Do you think so?
Well, a bit, but
that's hardly flattering.
Well, I don't mean to flatter you or not. I don't mean to flatter you or not. I mean to flatter you or not.
Look at that fake, forced laugh. She's imitating laughter while not even smiling.
I mean to flatter you or not. I mean to flatter you or not. I mean to flatter you or not.
And then glancing at something out of the corner of her eye. That was not genuine laughter, so why did she fake laughter and then within the same breath abruptly turn off the fake laugh? And was mindful enough to look at something from the corner of her eye. The reason I'm bringing this up is because something is off with her mentally. That is not normal behavior. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because I think it lends credibility to Richard's story that she's denying.
What do you feel about Richard Gadd?
I think he's psychotic, and I think that anyone going along, being in that play, and doing this to somebody, I find the behaviour outrageous.
How long did you know him for, Richard Gadd?
2-3 months. 2-3 months at maximum.
So you only knew him 2 to 3 months, or 15 months maximum. I understand recalling exact dates can be hard to remember, but that's a pretty large gap.
He says, Richard Gadd, he didn't see you as a villain, but as somebody who is unwell and needs help.
Yeah, well, he maybe should look a bit closer to home, to himself, as someone who needs help. Typical
projection and deflection.
You know, it's funny this is coming up now. My view is it's all about the money. The Martha Barstow Edinburgh Festival thing wasn't making any money. He'd failed as a comedian, he'd failed as an actor, and therefore, let's make some money, sell this to Netflix. I think anyone in their right mind, you had a group of guys on there in their 20s, they don't believe it.
You did graduate from Aberdeen?
Yes.
With a law degree? A trainee role at the legal firm McPhail Lawrence Partnership in 1997. Is that true?
It was called L&L Lawrence. I think she forgets the name of her own firm.
What difference does that make? That's not the point. People who are lying love to deflect from the topic at hand in attempt to distract from the truth.
It's called L&L Lawrence.
But that's all true. She gave you a trainee job.
She lured me away from another firm. She headhunted me from another firm.
She can't even just straight up answer a question. This is a tactic a lot of narcissists use to make the recipient feel overwhelmed and eventually become confused, hoping they will eventually just give up and drop the matter altogether.
Because she needed someone to do employment law, and I'm pretty good at employment law, so...
She said that she had to sack you days later because you were completely incapable of behaving yourself.
I walked. Her staff were really, really rude to me.
And here is yet another tactic that borderlines and narcissists both like to use. playing the victim. It's never their fault. It's always someone else's. Borderline personality disorder and narcissistic personality disorder actually have a lot in common. A lot of borderlines are very narcissistic, but not all narcissists are borderline. I feel like the average narcissist is usually not borderline and can typically control their emotions a lot better. They can often mask their true motives, whereas borderlines are emotionally rambunctious and reckless. And while some narcissists can be that way as well, they typically are much more capable of remaining calm on the outside while looking directly at you as they verbally abuse you and try to mentally break you down. A borderline and a narcissist are both scary enough on their own, but when someone is actually both, in which many are, that's a really dangerous thing. And I'm starting to think that that may be what we're looking at here.
She then said that following you leaving, obviously very quickly, that you then harassed her. Why would two people who have no contact with each other at all, Laura Ray and Richard Gadd, why would they both portray you as a very unpleasant harasser?
I don't know why Richard Gadd has, but Laura Walker, it was certainly because I was going for parliamentary selection.
The men that you've dated over the years will see this.
Yeah.
They'll be aware of it. They'll hear you.
I don't think if your next question is going to be, am I stalking them? I think the answer is going to be no.
Why would you jump to that conclusion? Seems like she may be telling on herself there.
Well, no, I just wonder how do you think they would view you?
I think they are going to think what I think about Richard Gadd, that he's completely off his head. And I'm not worried about the current one because he's a lawyer and he.
So you currently have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Look at the body language, the extended blink while nodding her head to convince you. And what difference does it make if he's a lawyer? What's the point of specifying that? See, this is something else Martha did on the series, always telling stories about all the people she was connected with.
He's a lawyer?
Yeah.
In London?
Doesn't matter where he is.
Yeah, makes it easier to lie when there's no location to track down this imaginary boyfriend. Who's a lawyer?
I'd rather...
No, I understand, but how long have you been...
5 years.
She's been in a relationship with her imaginary boyfriend for 5 years. I wonder what they're going to do for their anniversary. Maybe he'll take her on a special trip, like to Wonderland or some other exotic fictional destination. Okay, I have a confession, everyone. I've been secretly dating a supermodel for a while now. She's super rich and famous, but I can't show you any pictures of her, but trust me, she's hot.
You've been in a 5-year relationship.
Yeah, so I don't...
So what does he think
I don't
of
want
this?
to drag him in. He thinks this is horrendous. All of my lawyer friends do. All of my professional friends do.
This is just like Martha on the series, talking about how popular and important she is. Grandiose delusion. This is another typical trait of a narcissist. They need for the world to think they are important and special.
Here's the thing. I don't know the truth. You do. And you've been emphatic in the number of denials you're making here.
That's right.
But many of those things that I've put to you can be proven.
You're talking about emails and an email trail thing.
All that.
You know, all of that. You're obsessed with... sorry, I don't mean to be horrible.
I'm not obsessed with anything.
She knows all eyes are on her right now, so she has to be on her absolute best behavior in order to have a chance at swaying the general public. And even when the stakes are this high, she gets snappy, which is why she immediately catches herself and apologizes. But that snap is a direct reflection of who she really is and is in total alignment with the Martha character on the series. Imagine how she would react if she wasn't on this platform right now and if she wasn't being watched. She'd probably go off just like Martha did because her characterization on the show is accurate. And I'm not judging her for getting snappy at times. I get snappy at times. A lot of people get snappy at times. But the difference here is, why is she getting snappy? It's because he's touching up on a sensitive area. The 41,000 emails Richard claimed she sent, that she vehemently denies. But the truth will certainly be proven in the near future, and once it is, you can only imagine what Fiona's reaction will be like.
You've gone on at length for a good 10 minutes about the emails.
Well, only because the emails
Because it's a vast number.
Well, there's a huge number and voice messages. The voice messages he's kept apparently, and there
He
is
was maybe taping me in the Holy Arms. I don't know if he's got any voicemail.
FYI, just to clarify, in case you don't know, Holy Arms is the pub Richard worked at that she used to go to, just in case any of you were a bit confused. Definitely not a typical name for a bar or restaurant, more like a church or an orphanage or something.
But if he has 350 voice messages and it's you,
It doesn't mean the drama is true.
but is it possible he's got 350 voice
I
messages?
doubt that very much.
What do you mean you doubt it very much? If you didn't leave the voicemails, you can emphatically say, no way in hell he has messages of me on his phone because I didn't leave any. That is all you have to say. But instead, she gets nervous, fumbles around her words, takes long pauses, blinks excessively, all pretty good indications that she's lying.
I just don't think so.
You doubt it?
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, unless
Wouldn't
he's
he
been
be-
taping me.
I mean, if you've never really contacted him, if he's
He
got
could have
three,
been taping me in the Holy Arms, though.
but if he's got 350,
I've not contacted
but if these
him.
are on his phone.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether they're on a phone, tablet, whatever they're on. I've not contacted
But I'm curious,
him.
why would there even be a possibility of him having that number of voice messages from you?
Because he's crazy, he wants to make this up. I mean, I've not phoned the guy. I don't have his number. I've
Yeah, but
not
you're,
had his
you're not
number.
sure that he hasn't got those.
I think the only explanation for having a voicemail from me would be taping me in the Holy Arms.
First off, that's not a voicemail. That's a recording. So your defense to these audio clips he has of your voice is that he took the time to record you talking at the pub, went home and dumped those recordings into an editor, and then spliced together your words to create a fake message of you declaring your love for him. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. He just couldn't help himself. You were just too irresistible.
If Richard
Yeah.
Gadd is watching this, what's your message to him?
Leave me alone, please. Get a life, get a proper job. I am horrified at what you've done.
And you will categorically be taking legal action.
Absolutely, against both him and Netflix.
You said your boyfriend's a lawyer, so this
Yeah.
can be done
He's
very
not doing it, no.
Yeah, I wonder why her imaginary lawyer boyfriend doesn't want to represent her in this case.
He has said that he led you on at times. And he clearly
I gave
was...
him the brush off. He asked me to sleep with him with a big green spot in his face one day. I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not interested.
He asked you to do what?
He asked me to sleep with him. He said, would I like my curtains fixed? And I laughed. And he said, that's a euphemism. Do you want me to come home with you? And I said, I've got a boyfriend.
Dude, she's got an imaginary boyfriend. What do you think he's going to do if he comes in and catches you?
I gave him the brush off big time, I think. You know,
Why?
subtly so, but the bottom line is,
didn't
I think
fancy
this
him?
is behind him. No, I don't fancy him.
This woman is such a snob. She only dates imaginary lawyers.
I don't fancy little boys without jobs.
Didn't you meet him at his job? Or does the pub not count since he's not a hotshot imaginary lawyer?
But he's effectively making money out of what he
he's
says.
making money out of
what
my
he says is
misery,
you
yeah.
stalking him.
Yeah, he's making money out of untrue facts.
What exactly are untrue facts?
He's been the ultimate misogynist.
How do you know he's been the ultimate misogynist if you haven't even watched a single episode of the series?
You
If
got a
this
law degree.
continues, yeah.
Law degree, so you're obviously very bright. How did you do at school?
I've got a photographic memory. I was top of the school, apart from the science.
Your law degree, what grade did you get?
Not bad. I mean, all right.
What
You
was
know,
This question should not be that difficult to answer, unless you're lying.
I just did an ordinary degree and then a diploma in legal practice.
Well,
and I did a
what grades did you
politics
get for
degree. All right grades.
This is not a trick question. Try again.
All right grades, but, you know, I went out
what were they?
partying. I didn't do an honors degree.
Try again.
So, you know, just bog standard grades,
What
really.
degree did you did a law degree or?
I did a law degree with 13 subjects, 13 law subjects. So it wasn't the CPE or anything, which I also have from down here, but it was 13 law subjects.
This is from Aberdeen University.
Yeah.
So what degree did you end up with?
A law degree, and then I did a politics degree after that.
And what grade did you get
Politics,
for
women's studies.
Try again. It's not that hard.
I did substantially better in that because I did more work. You know, I think in our day, when you went to university, you did.
There's a reason you say you got a photographic memory, but
Yeah.
what grades did you get?
All right grades. I mean, not top of the year or anything.
Checkmate, Richard. Clearly you were the one lying when you said this woman was mentally ill.
No,
But all
you
right
get
grades.
when you do a degree, you get a.
Yeah, oh, you're asking me what marks I got for 13 subjects. I can't remember. I've got a photographic memory.
Well, no, you end up with it. Did you get a first class degree?
Oh, no. Well, I said I didn't do an honours degree. I wanted to go out and practice, so it was an ordinary degree I did.
Right, but you can't remember how you did.
I did all right. I didn't do top of the year.
Who can answer the age-old mystery? What were your grades? I guess it's too hard to answer for an imaginary lawyer who went to an imaginary college and got an imaginary law degree, and then dated an imaginary lawyer.
If it came to it, would you take a lie detector test?
Yeah. Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. No, why would I? I don't need to prove myself to anyone.
We need to consult other lawyers about that.
If we set one up, you would do it.
A lie detector test for what?
Maybe to detect lies?
Could it be people to be asking this, watching you, thinking either she's genuinely innocent here, or she's a terrible liar who is capable of all of these things?
I don't lie.
How many times did you meet Richard Gere?
Don't know. I've got a photographic memory.
What would you guess?
5, 6, maybe 5, 6 times.
That's it
Yeah.
in your life.
Yeah.
So her and Richard only met 5 or 6 times, and according to her, he recorded her talking at the pub and took those recordings and spliced together the 350 voice messages that he said were from her. Man, so how busy must Richard have been for him to splice together 350 messages of her talking from only 5 or 6 brief interactions they had? Those 350 voicemails must have been really repetitive and redundant. A lot of the same talking points.
Yeah.
How do you think it's come to this? If that's all true,
I think he wanted to make money. I think he picked on somebody. There was a backstory there with that Stalker article out there, right? So stalking's in vogue, going to prison's in vogue. What do writers say, or English lecturers or something, write about what you know?
And that's what he did. He wrote about what he knew. He wrote about being stalked because you were stalking him. So you're agreeing that he wrote about what he knew, but you're also saying he only read the article online saying you're a stalker. So if you didn't stalk him and all he did was read the article online, then how was he writing about what he knew? That's a total contradiction, and that's what happens when a liar is interrogated.
and to people who are watching, look down the barrel of that camera.
I'm looking.
To people who are watching this and who still doubt you, what do you say to them?
I think you should watch this. I think you should look at the number of articles that Richard Gadd and Jessica, the actress, have done, and how Netflix and he have promoted this. I think you should look at him saying, I am some sort of mental case.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have to suspend our disbelief too much on that.
And judge for yourselves, because I can't change your mind on this.
Well, it's good to know she at least has a sliver of self-awareness.
I can just rebut what has been said. You need to make up your own minds. But my mind is made up. He's a liar. And my friends say likewise.
Man, what I wouldn't do to be a fly on the wall in the room where all her imaginary friends get together to talk about what a liar Richard is.
Fiona Harvey, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
And just wanted to close out and say, although I do find a lot of the things she says and does humorous, I don't have anything against her. I don't actually think she's evil. I just think she's suffering from borderline personality disorder. So in cases like this, before putting someone in prison, I think they should try therapy and see if that can help manage the destructive tendencies people with BPD have. One may not ever fully heal from BPD, but I believe if they are dedicated enough that therapy can help them minimize the negative effects. And if they can do that, I think they can live fairly normal lives. So anyway, that's about it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. I'm thinking about making a second video on this. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd want to see. And consider subscribing so you can catch the next video. Thanks for watching. God bless.
He asked you to do what?
He asked me to sleep with him.